Sarah Palin was playing to a favorable crowd, but did she connect with people outside the Tea Party lines, specifically independent voters who can really sway elections? So let's welcome back our independent voter panel. Joe Ganelman is editor-in-chief of The Moderate Voice. He joins us from Naples, Florida. And Nicole Kurokawa is also independent voting analyst, and she is in Chicago. So did Sarah Palin's message resonate with you, Joe?
Part of it. I mean, the thing is, I'll be candid with you. I'm turned off by candidates once they get into what I call the talk radio political culture. And once she talked about Obama being a law professor, it smacked to me of Rudy Giuliani talking about him being a community organizer. And I feel sort of a window shutting in my mind at that point, saying, oh, here we go, another partisan speech. Now, how did she connect with me? I think that was a big step forward. That was a speech that had a lot more substance. On the other hand, I'm listening to that speech and thinking, this is supposed to be a nonpartisan movement? That was almost like a keynote speech to a Republican convention. So I think I realized she could do a speech with a little more substance when I heard it this time. But I was turned off by the hopey-dopey thing that she said. I mean, these are nice lines that
right there. You know what? Let's play that for you, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Our administration promised that it would be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. Remember Vice President Biden? He was put in charge of a tough, unprecedented oversight effort. That's how it was introduced. You know why? Because nobody messes with Joe. Now, this was all part of that hope and change and transparency, and now a year later, I got to ask those supporters of all that, how's that hopey, changey stuff working out for you?
So, listen, Nicole, Joe said that turned him off hearing that. And I asked one of the people who was at the Tea Party earlier, two of the people, if it made them uncomfortable that she was so critical. And some of the comments we're getting are saying that she was sort of snarky when it came to criticizing the president. What did you think about comments like that?
I think it was interesting that she had said that she called politicians out for taking pot shots at other people, and then she went and did the same thing. She did the same thing she did in the vice presidential debates, you know, colloquially talking about Joe Biden. It was a very red meat speech. I'm not surprised that the people that were there liked it, but she certainly wasn't trying to win over any converts. She was among friends, and she played to that. But in terms of, you know, appealing to the middle, there was none of that.
So I want to get it clear here, and if you can give me one answer. Nicole, do you think she appealed to independents in this speech?
No.
Joe, do you think she appealed to independents in this speech?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay, and he said, then what would you, and if the thing is, she said here, you know, I think the Republican Party would be smart to try to bring in as many Tea Party people as possible. So is she, I don't know, sort of just preaching to the choir when it comes to this, Joe? Is she speaking to a group that is already on the side of the Republican Party or on the side of Tea Partiers? That's
been her problem since she's been on the campaign, that Sarah Palin, she does have some real political abilities, but she essentially seems to be continually consolidating the people who already support her. And you think that she'd want to reach outside her constituency and also try to reach outside the existing constituency of the Tea Party movement to bring others in, because there are independents who might say, well, we'll listen to what you're saying about big government and taxes and some of the things that you don't like about the Obama administration. But if it's so snarky and so partisan, it's like you could hear that on talk radio. I like talk radio sometimes, but I could just turn on the radio and hear that. But there was more substance than I feared from that speech. I thought that it would be a speech that would just be a bunch of personal attacks and demonization. But she had a lot of substance in that speech as well.
Yeah, I took notes on it, and that was really the assessment of some of the people here, the political people, that there was a lot of meat in the speech. There was a lot of substance. Yep. So Nicole, listen, she said at the end that she said what she liked most about Tea Partiers is that now even Democrats may be looking at them, and there may be some converts from the Democratic side, converts from the Republican side, and that people are just sort of peeling back the curtain and looking, and she's going to win more people over. I mean, is that stretching it to say that Democrats might join this movement?
Well, I think obviously it's a very motivated group of voters. In terms of actually speaking to the American electorate, I don't think they actually speak for the majority of Americans. I think most Americans are very moderate, but they are very motivated. They're getting out the vote, and they're pushing people rightwards. So, when they are pushing the whole political landscape towards the right. They're forcing Republicans to become more conservative. They have also forced Democrats to reevaluate some of their spending priorities. So I think it has certainly changed the political landscape, but I don't know. This was not a politically inclusive speech. We keep hearing about Ronald Reagan. I would love a compromise to be worked out where the Republicans don't talk about Ronald Reagan anymore, and the Democrats don't talk about George Bush anymore. That would be real change to me. That would be great. But
and Nicole,
this was not inclusive.